Well, thank you for that introduction. I'd just like to give a quick shout out to Rosa for introducing me earlier. If I start jumping about, I'm nervous, that's why. So I decided to do the speech on the meaning of self-control. The definition of self-control is the ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires, especially in difficult situations. Recently, my life has changed forever. I can no longer lean on my teachers or fellow classmates for support, as I'm no longer a student here in this school. I'm expected to be independent and in control. I have been thrust into a dangerous world with unrealistic views and limited knowledge of realism. It would be an understatement to say I have no idea how the last 12 years of education fit into the ever-changing riddle I refer to as my life. I've been stuck in this cycle where I feel as though the world around me is evolving, yet I'm trapped, prohibited from adapting. So I've looked at my final year here in this very school for help, as it was one of the most strenuous, tiring, but oddly exciting times of my life. And I discovered so many new things, like my sky-high stress levels, or the way anxiety can sweep me in its arms and hold me captive. I've learned that the challenges I faced this past year are nothing compared to the trials I'm set to endure in what adults repeatedly tell me is the real world. In the past few months, I've spent endless nights and infinite hours looking at ways to manage my time and improve myself. During this time, I managed to discover one thing for certain: I lack self-control. So I decided to do the one thing a student knows to do: research. I came to the conclusion that three main things factor into my ability to self-control. 1, stress, and my art teacher is going to be so proud of that drawing. I know stress is normal. It keeps the body motivated as you move closer to deadlines, but when it gets out of hand, it can be unhealthy, which I discovered. There is a simple way to limit stress. Getting enough sleep each night is effective. However, since stress limits the quality of your sleep, studies have shown that it's important to get 7 to 8 hours sleep each night. But what do I know? I'm just a 16-year-old who, during her exams, was stumbling around this town like a walker from The Walking Dead. All jokes aside, my exams made me not only realise the importance of sleep, but also understand it. But I don't have time to sleep is an excuse I am more than familiar with, which leads me to my next point. 2, organisation. Organisation and stress go hand in hand like the cringy couple in a coffee shop. Being organised gives you a chance to manage your time. I personally found a diary works for me, but if that's not your thing, then a simple solution is probably in your pocket right now, or if you're on Twitter, which I advise you do, maybe in your hand. Every smartphone in the modern days gives you access to a calendar. Use it. Studies have also shown that people who have an organised environment have lower levels of anxiety, something which is an issue for many. For some people, even after doing all of these things, like myself, you'll find yourself at a crossroads and extremely confused, asking yourself, why can't I be in control? The only explanation I could find was that I was the problem. Little did I know I was right, but for the wrong reasons. This is when I found I needed to trust myself with these changes. 3, self-esteem. How could I remain in control when I didn't believe I could? It's extremely difficult to try and change your life in a positive direction when you don't believe you deserve the results. And I'll be honest and say I'm still not confident within myself now, and I've done TEDx to help with that. But as I was writing this speech, I realised one thing: I was making progress. As daunting as all of this is, I'm doing it. I have chosen to do something that will help me in my mission to gain self-control. For once, the pessimist feels positive. I cannot stand here and give tips for self-esteem when I lack the very thing I'm talking about. It would be hypocritical of me. Everyone's situations are different. You could be a student, a teacher, a mother. But what I do believe is that everyone needs to help themselves before others can. I would like to leave everyone with a quote before I go, as for me it's a lifeline that I live by. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, I'm saying it's going to be worth it. Thank you.
listen, Nikhia, you can always go into a career in stand-up because you are, isn't she just naturally funny and really brought kind of levity. You even got to move. This works. Just brought, real humour to something. And I love, when we were talking the other night, I love what you said. You said, I don't have any self-control. And that just sort of conjures up a whole lot of images, doesn't it, in terms of what does that look like when you don't have the self-control?
You don't know.
But what I love is that you went on to do something about it. Lots of people struggle with the same thing, but they will own it. They will wear it. They will live it. This is my problem. I struggle with this. Whereas what you did is actually say, well, this is something in my life, and I don't want it to be there, so I'm going to find out how to change it. Why do you think you made that decision and other people struggle with that? What is it that motivated you, do you think?
Well, it wasn't just me who made the decision. I can tell there's a plethora of teachers who would just moan at me. It's like, you're not doing any revision because you just keep moaning about it. And I can sit there and say that I was just moaning about it. And then as it got closer to my exams, I realised that it's something I need to work on, as it's not something that's just going to get me through my exams. It's something you need in your life.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who don't have the chance to experience different things when they're stuck. And I just want to be able to help people with that.
I love out of your struggle, you're kind of sending those waves forward and paying it forward to that. And actually, I was talking to my husband about you when I got home and saying, do you know what, I really, there's things that I hear myself saying, oh, I can't do this, oh, I struggle with this. And actually, you held me to account, because I thought, well, if you can say, okay, I struggle, I'm going to fix it, then I can do that too. Do you get that feeling from her? Do you feel that you could actually make a change based on watching this journey that Nikhia has taken? That's the gift. That's the gift. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep clapping. Well, thank you very much, Nikhia.